All right, one more,
This video will
and
cover
then we'll play a game.
6 child stars who had a terrible life after fame, and we're going to begin by talking
Drake?
about Jake Lloyd.
I did see. Wait, where is it? This
This video
Drake
will
Bell,
cover
I
6
think his
child
name
stars
is,
who
right?
had a terrible life.
This guy from Drake and Josh. I've seen him like a few days ago on Twitter, or like not him, but about him, and something about child abuse. What? Sexual, like pedophile? What the fuck, dude? I didn't even know what the fuck was happening, right? He's like, a week ago or so, he was sighted near a school, and then he vanished for a day, and now there's like allegation that he has like child and stuff, dude. What the?
Life after
That
fame,
is
and we're going to begin by talking about Jake
That is
Lloyd,
something.
who played Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Jake was chosen to play Anakin from 3,000 potential candidates and would perform so well in the billion-dollar movie that he won the best performance in a feature film for an actor under the age of 10. While this might have implied that Jake had a
Cool.
promising film career ahead of him, he'd appear in only
Hey,
one
stay
more
hydrated.
movie after Star Wars before announcing his acting retirement at the age of 12, explaining that he was bullied heavily as a result of the role. My entire school life was really a living hell, and I had to do up to 60 interviews a day. Other children were really mean to me. They would make the sound of the lightsaber every time they saw me. With this kind of harassment even
I shouldn't be laughing. This is serious, yeah. But kids can be so mean in the worst ways, man. It's in the most unsuspecting ways. Kids can be so mean, man. It's
continuing into Jake's
disgusting.
high school and college experience.
You know how they can be in high school. They're so charming and intelligent. College has been similar. They wouldn't let it go.
In other interviews, Jake
But I think being a child actor also has a lot of impact on your mental and on your life. Obviously, some are very jealous that you have made a movie in, I don't know, very young age. So they're like trying to make him feel bad, right? Trying to whatever they can because they're obviously jealous. But on the other hand, I think it's also very mental stress that everyone wants to talk to you. Everyone wants to be associated with you. Everyone wants an interview with you, like pictures, whatever, new movie roles and something. I don't know. I think it's a heavy toll. Very
had
mentally
been warned about
stressful.
the common path taken by
I
child
wouldn't know,
celebrities.
but
Child stars have had a
I'm
bit of
assuming.
a reputation that they turn to, a life of drugs, so may the force be with you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yet this advice seemed to have
Makes me think, is this probably the same as being a child prodigy? You know, the child prodigies, they're like, they always get praised. They're like, wow, you're so good. And then and everything they do just works, right? It's probably the same concept. So everything you do works. But then once you come to an older age and something doesn't go as you plan, and they just instantly go depressed. They're like, they're not ready, or they haven't dealt with anything like that. So they're like, woof, mental breakdown.
had no impact
So I
as
think
his
it's
life
something
began
like
to
that.
go downhill beginning in 2015. Jake Lloyd has schizophrenia, stopped taking his medication, and attacked his mother. Indianapolis police were called to the home of Lloyd's mother, Lisa.
Wonder if he wanted
She said
to take the role or his
26-year-old
mom
showed up
made
and
him.
yelled at her, saying she ruined his life. Lloyd allegedly knocked her down when she wouldn't let him in the house and stomped her 3 or 4 times, causing bruises and abrasions. He was gone by the time the police showed up, and she didn't press charges. Only 3 months later, Jake Lloyd found himself in a high-speed police chase, after which he'd be arrested for reckless driving, driving without a license, and resisting arrest, resulting in 10 months jail time in a psychiatric
How old was he,
facility.
16?
2 years after this, Jake's 26-year-old sister Madison died unexpectedly in her sleep, prompting the mother to release a statement regarding Jake's well-being. Jake has been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, but unfortunately he also has a symptom called anosognosia, which causes a lack of insight into his illness. This only adds to the struggle he faces, which has been very difficult after the tragic loss of his younger sister Madison. He has moved closer to his family, and we are all working hard to help him with this. He is still a kind and caring person, and we hope to have him back to his fun and entertaining self as soon as possible. Jake will continue to make progress with the love and support you continue to show, which is promising when compared to the life of Edward Furlong. After playing John Connor in The Terminator 2, Furlong began to mess with drugs, stating, "Hollywood F me up, man. Lots of money and lots of free coke will turn any anybody into
22
a
to
cokehead,
26.
with this addiction resulting in his first arrest for driving under the influence without a license. Furlong attended rehab as a result of the incident and was able to stay sober for a number of years. However, by 2009, at the age of 32,
I'm assuming so as well.
he was
So his
back in the
mother.
news for punching his girlfriend whilst
Ouch,
on drugs. 3 years later, Furlong was arrested.
I don't even know if she
again,
feels bad
this
for
time
him.
for domestic abuse against his new girlfriend.
Probably just making these
resulting in a
statements so
further
that
6
he
months
doesn't get
in
any
prison,
backlash or something.
where he'd pick up a meth addiction. Although this story actually has somewhat of a happy ending. In July 2022, Furlong announced that he had gotten his teeth fixed, was taking better care of himself, and had been sober for over 4 years.
Oh, that's good for him.
Now, man. I mean, it feels so good to at least be doing the best you can.
Although
Hey,
this
that's
kind
good
of
for you,
happy
man.
ending
Hey.
has been unavailable to Drake Bell, whose life has only
Alright, get
gotten
ready.
worse every single
Get
year
ready.
since he starred in Drake and Josh. In 2014, approximately 7 years after the show came to an end, Drake Bell announced that he was filing for bankruptcy, causing a foreclosure on his $2 million mansion. 1 year later, in 2015, he'd be jailed for 4 days as a result of driving under the influence. However, the real drama didn't begin until mid-2020, when his ex-girlfriend would upload a video on TikTok making some pretty severe accusations.
Imagine the worst type of verbal abuse you could ever imagine, and that was what I got. It then turned into physical, hitting, throwing, everything. At the pinnacle of it, he drugged me down the stairs of our house in Los Feliz. My face hit every step on the way
Jesus.
down.
Drake Bell would defend
Alright,
himself
I didn't
by
know about
stating,
this.
"I never abused my ex-girlfriend or did so many of the other things Melissa falsely claimed on her TikTok video. Unfortunately, we both called each other terrible names, as often happens when couples are breaking up, but that is it." Although this response most certainly didn't put an end to the drama, as there was even bigger trouble just around
Was
the
it confirmed,
corner.
though?
An article
Or is it
titled
just-
"Drake Bell's alleged victim accuses him of grooming" explained that he was embroiled in a legal battle for engaging in a relationship with a 15-year-old girl back in 2017. Things became even worse when footage of the trial was uploaded to YouTube.
Party plead to count 2, disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, first-degree misdemeanor.
Guilty.
Let the record reflect defendant has pled guilty. The court accepts that plea.
And while he would plead guilty to child endangerment, Drake Bell would then take to his Instagram to insinuate that he hadn't done anything wrong.
Don't believe the media. If these claims were remotely true, my situation would be very different. I would not be here at home with my wife and my son.
Despite finishing
I always thought he was a singer. Wasn't he an artist or something? What happened to that? I thought he... I mean, he did play the guitar in Drake and Josh, right? Maybe that's what I remember. I thought he was like an artist, like a singer, and he was like actually not dependent on his
stating
Nickelodeon
that he was
stuff.
at home with his wife. This relationship
Well,
would
I guess
last
not.
only 1 more year, as in January 2023, on top of everything that had
Janet
already happened,
Bunch-Melling.
Drake Bell announced that he was also
Weird
getting
marriage
a
reports.
divorce. Considering he's acted in only 2 productions since 2020, it's safe to say that Drake Bell's reputation is pretty much finished, although he's not the only Nickelodeon actor with a spot in this video, as the life of Amanda Bynes has descended into an even worse...
Wait, when is this? When was this from? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Maybe, damn, maybe making this video he didn't know about Mr. Sunny V2. Maybe he didn't know about the school thing. I think it did happen recently, so
version
yeah.
of hell. Despite having one of the most famous faces throughout the 2000s, Amanda Bynes would announce her retirement from acting in 2010, stating that being an actress isn't as fun as it may seem. "If I don't love something anymore, I stop doing it. I don't love acting anymore, so I've stopped doing it. I know 24 is a young age to retire, but you heard it here first." She'd go on to state that the retirement was because "I literally couldn't stand my appearance in Easy A and I didn't like my performance. I was absolutely convinced that I needed to stop acting after seeing it. However, this is where things began to go downhill rapidly." In 2012, 2 years after retiring, she was charged with driving under the influence and hit and run on 2 separate occasions. 2 years after this, she was charged with driving under the influence again.
Every
with her
one
court
of them,
appearance
right, has
displaying a
been-
significant physical decline from just 2 years.
Honestly, I don't
prior.
even
In the
know who she
process,
is.
Amanda would take to Twitter to call Michelle and Barack Obama ugly before stating that she
Honestly, dude, I don't even know. What Amanda? I mean, I might remember from movies, I guess. But Easy A, she's the man. Okay, I don't not think I've ever watched any of these. What? She was in Fast and Furious 5 and 7. Ooh. Amanda Bryan. What? Okay, well, that's Emma Stone. Oh my god, is that... It is, Josh. Oh, damn. Is that her? Because I think I remember that. I think I remember that thing. Whatever.
In her parents were no longer speaking, which accompanied some absolutely wild accusations about her father, including the statement that he had put a microchip in her brain. After she'd also set fire to a driveway, Amanda was put in a mental hospital, after which her parents were given legal ownership over her $5 million estate, as Amanda has been
yeah, I think that was the
large
one I
amounts
just...
of her savings. It has been
yeah, I think I
reported
did
that she's
see Channing
recently made
Tatum.
extensive purchases as gifts from jewelry stores, such as
I actually do not
Cartier
remember
for
any. Maybe there was
strangers.
like...
Amanda Bynes was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and would attempt to get her life back on track by enrolling in fashion school. However, she was kicked out only 10 months later for showing up high and arguing with her classmates.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you get kicked out of fashion design school? But okay, yeah, if you're high or like, yeah, misbehavior,
In
I get it.
people assumed that she was back to her normal self, as Amanda showed up in magazines looking like this. However, within a year, she'd gotten face tattoos and checked into Alcoholics Anonymous, where she'd meet her new boyfriend who, according to Amanda, had just as many problems as her. In October 2022, she'd make another attempt at
Oh, I
fixing
did
her
see this
life
picture.
by enrolling in cosmetic
I don't know
school,
why.
yet only 5 months later, in March 2023, she was sent to a mental hospital once again, as she was found roaming the streets of Los Angeles without any clothes on. Then there was Orlando Brown, whose role as Eddie Thomas on That's So Raven ended with an equally terrible life. After the show came to an end in 2007, Orlando began to focus on music, during which his life was kept fairly private until he'd entered news headlines approximately 9 years later. Between February and March 2016, Brown was arrested on 2 separate occasions on charges of domestic violence, obstruction of justice, drug possession with the intent to sell, and possession of contraband in jail. In February 2016, cops claimed he struck his then-girlfriend in the parking lot of a police station and was found by officers to be in possession of methamphetamine. Orlando was given a notice to appear in court, yet he'd instead flee to Las Vegas, where he was caught by bounty hunters.
You left California. It's a felony when you flee. What are you doing here then, brother? You got a warrant for your arrest.
After which things...
A dude's on drugs or something.
A video was released of Orlando being kicked out of a friend's house after lasting only a week in rehab, which was followed by his appearance on the Dr. Phil show, during which he'd state that he'd been sober for 4 years, despite clearly being under the influence on the show.
I'm 4 years sober for a reason.
Wait, what happened to his
I just got
eyes?
out of rehab. I just got out of ER. I'm not doing no more time away from my kids other than I need to.
As a result of this episode, Orlando would return to rehab and get clean before discussing his experience.
Wait, what is wrong with his eyes? Alright, okay, alright, I get it. I think I get it. Alright, my bad. I'm sorry.
As a result of this episode, Orlando would return to rehab and get clean before discussing his experience on the No Jumper podcast.
There might be some.
I had 2-year binge of something that I should have never, ever indulged in.
Meth?
Yes. Those situations, man, they will never happen again based off of the fact that where I'm trying to go.
And while he'd end his statement by stating that those situations will never happen again, Orlando was back in the news approximately 7 months later in December 2022.
God, it could have been so good. That interview
he's
could have
currently undertaking a psychiatric
lifted him up,
to
man,
see if
but
he's eligible for
boom.
pleading insanity. Yet the most
This
tragic
had to
story
happen,
of
man.
child fame without a doubt comes from Judy Garland, who played Dorothy Gale in The Wizard of Oz at the age of 16. Whilst filming the movie, she was prescribed amphetamines to keep up with the
I did hear that.
grueling schedule, as well as barbiturates
So I don't even-
to
I
help
can't- I
her
don't think I
sleep
can even
when the
blame
day
her.
was finally over. The studio also required Judy to stay incredibly thin, feeding her nothing but soup.
It was also the one where they had asbestos rain on them, right? This was the movie, right? Where you just had fucking straight up asbestos rain under skin, under pure skin. Dude, that was
lettuce leaves whilst on set, which she'd explained led
So,
to a poor self-image.
I
By
guess
the
it
time
was,
The Wizard of
I don't
Oz
know.
was finished, she was
That
being
movie
prescribed
and like
amphetamines from 4 different
people just ruined her,
doctors to
man.
keep her
I don't
weight
even
down
think it's
and
on
her
her.
mood up, although this lifestyle began to catch up to her.
Drugs, getting up late, coming in late to work, and it turned into a nightmare for everybody concerned.
She'd be fired from 3 different movies for intoxication and was constantly
That's
in
just
the
fucking
news for
sad,
being
man.
completely broke. Her kids stated that the family couldn't even afford food at times, which accompanied angry slurred messages about being paid for work.
These weren't delusions. She was broke when she recorded this, and not movie star down to my
That's
last
actually
Rolls
sad
Royce
as
broke.
fuck, man. That's
Homeless
like
broke. No money to buy
it's not even
food
on
broke.
her,
By the
man.
time
It's like
Judy Garland was in her 40s, she looked
fuck,
about
man.
15 years older, had been divorced 5 different times, and was performing in a New York bar for $100 per night. While Judy Garland maintained that she had never done anything wrong in her entire life,
The only mistake I ever did, the only harm I ever did was sing Over the Rainbow.
she would die of an overdose at the age of 47 on the exact same drug that she was prescribed during The
man.
Wizard of Oz, with her
the
estate
fuck?
being worth a measly $40,000.
Dude, that is just fucked up, man. That's not you can't even blame her for that. That's Garland's story is just so sad. It's almost infuriating that she turned out and died the way she did, all because of those older manipulating of her in the role. I messed up. It's just unimaginable. Destroying the life of a child forever, like this should be a highest criminal, right? So yeah, there's not even much she could have done there. Like, I mean, I guess there is things you could have done, but it was kind of like forced upon her, you know. So that's fucking sad, man. So what do we learn from this? Hey, if you get an acting role, better not take it. That's what I learned from this. Acting messes you up. Yeah. Beep boop. Hey, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. And leave a like, subscribe, comment. I do reply. And maybe I'll see you around. See ya!